shower?
They would not need to.
Why would men smell good and get up and actually go think, you know what, I want to provide for a family? That was God's design. In fact, I think it's in 1 Timothy. It's 1 Timothy 5:8. It talks about a man providing. And if he doesn't, then he's really not worthy. Men, again, this whole distortion of if women weren't around and women aren't valuable, men wouldn't. Am I being like rude? But I don't know a lot of men that would look good, smell good, work as hard, thrive as hard. We do compliment and we push men to be
women to win over.
To win over. And men were created to hunt, not just go out into the world and provide, but really pursue women. And now there's this whole gender reversal where young women are basically naked at 14 years old on the internet and pursuing men because men don't even have to pursue women anymore. And if they do have to, we talked about this last show, if they do have to pursue you, forget it. They'll just swipe left and find someone to come hang out and have sex with. So it's ruining how the courting relationship, the dating relationship, the waiting till you're in love, married relationship, all of the foundational things that God did to bless us. It's like just eroding it. It's just eroding it.
Now, when you say women are pursuing men, it leaves men to be less interested in achieving any of their natural God-given roles too, because the natural order was that a man would go out and he'd look good and he'd have a great job to win over and show a woman, I can provide for you, right? I can provide for our children when we start a family. So now if women are out there pursuing men for who knows what reason now, because marriage just is kind of...
Well, because they're supposed to be like men.
Right, yeah.
They're supposed to have more money than men. They're supposed to have...
Yeah. So now we're talking about women who are boss babes, going back to boss babes. When a woman has her own career and is successful on her own, she now no longer, quote, needs a man. And there is a whole, I don't need a man movement. It's like, yeah, but I want a man. Hello? I want a nice, warm, snuggly person to snuggle up to. I want someone to help me discipline my kids. I want a family. I want that nuclear, traditional, he's the man of the house. He provides for us. There is nothing wrong with that. And we're not saying that's the only way. We're saying the leftist, liberal feminism movement needs to stop saying that is not okay. That it's not okay for a man to be here. This is what I wanted to read you earlier. Although feminist advocacy is and has been mainly focused on women's rights, some feminists argue for the inclusion of men's liberation within its aims because they believe that men are also harmed by traditional gender roles. So for us to say, okay, our role is to be great wives, keep a good home, bear children, nurture those children, and be a support system for our husband. No. That's damaging to our husbands to believe that. It's not. It puts too much pressure on them to provide for you and go out and work every day and bring home the bacon.
Whatever happened, this is the thing I've been really kind of wrapping my head around recently, is life is full of pressure. For us to act like we can take away all pressure from all people and that's a good thing is a terrible idea. Have you ever seen somebody never have a problem, never have pressure, never go through anything? They end up being the wimpiest.
Hunter Biden.
Whiniest. And really kind of, I see an emptiness, like a longing, a grasping for something to hold on to. It's like, we talked about this before, but when we build our foundation on culture compared to Christ, you build a completely different life. There's a completely different life. Christ is foundational. He's the unshakable rock, the unshakable foundation that if you hold true, you walk this life according to that foundation, you will build a completely different life. And people over here that don't understand that foundation, that don't know the truth, that don't know Jesus Christ, are trying to tell you how to build your house. Well, and it's like, and theirs is crumbling.
Well, because you just said that theirs is based on culture, and we are already seeing that culture changes its mind whenever it wants. So now you don't even have a foundation. You have something that can be ripped out from you whenever you want because you based your entire moral and social life around society that can change its mind whenever it wants. It can change its mind about science and biology, like actual things, actual facts can change. So you've got no foundation whatsoever. Yeah.
And they're trying to tell us how to build our houses.
Right. No, thanks.
This is how you build your house. And it's like, wait a minute. I build my house on a foundation of truth, not my truth, not your truth. No, I always say that we all have experience. We all have experience that's different than truth. There's one truth. And so I every time I have an experience, sure. But when it comes to foundational belief system, I want it built on the truth, not my feelings. My feelings change every day. My feelings changed this morning whether or not I wanted to wake up and do life. Like, I mean, right. It's like if I followed my feelings, I'd be home on my couch having Doritos, Dr. Pepper, and probably a fifth of tequila at night. Ooh. I mean, if I followed my feelings, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here. I definitely wouldn't have the marriage I have. I wouldn't be the parent I am. I wouldn't have the body I have. Do I want to ever really go to the gym? Not really. But the thing is I don't follow my feelings. Feelings are a disaster. They really are a disaster. And this world is saying, just follow your heart. Follow your
makes
feelings.
You happy.
And whatever makes you happy. Yep. And that is such a ditch. It's such a ditch of the devil. It's like there's one victory path, and it is on the hem of Jesus Christ's garment. And on the left side is going to be the world, the opinions of the world. And on the right side, it's going to be your feelings and your happiness. And I think the spiritual maturity is doing what's right, not what's easy. Happiness usually is kind of falling in line with what's easy. I think like a temporary happiness. It's like, this feels good right now, and it's immature, really.
It is immature. I have to make a point. We wanted to make a point.
Yes, make a point.
I mean, Can
we make a point?
Points. We've made a point.
Do we have a point here?
I have a point. For the listeners, we have said from the very beginning that we wanted to make it very clear to our listeners that we champion, and this is the word that you keep using, we champion strong men. We have a lot of male listeners out there, and here's what we want you to know. Of all the messages that we're going to say, you may disagree with something we say here or there, but what we are doing more than anything is we are encouraging you and championing you to be the man that God made you to be strong, to be a warrior, to protect your family, to protect your wife, to protect those around you, to what else is meant to provide,
love, serve, in fact, and cherish your wives.
Yes.
That's your highest call. Highest call.
We are not here to even toy with the idea that toxic masculinity is a thing. Okay, there's toxic men, but that's their own thing, and that's their own way of life and the way they grew up and their crazy mental status. But toxic masculinity...
Well, I don't know. I disagree. I know we're disagreeing. But there can be toxic masculinity. I mean, there's guys that are not good guys. I mean,
okay, but I don't know if that's toxic masculinity. That's abuse. And there's abusive men and there's violent men. But toxic masculinity, we should have looked up the definition, is basically that when you puff out your chest and you think you're the alpha in the room, that's just toxic and it makes other men feel inferior. And it's like, the beta men maybe, or it makes women uncomfortable because they feel overpowered by your masculinity.
Okay, and I'm a life coach for women, and I'm going to tell you guys something right now. All you guys listening, women, 99.9999% of them want a real man.
Yeah,
we want a real man is looking to God as the head and lining his life up with him so that he can be the man God called him to be. Because right when that happens, we've been wired as women. God said it to Eve. Your downfall will be you will be like subject to this man. We are like, when you line up with God, we just like,
we trust you. When we know you're in the will of God,
everything falls into place. Everything falls into place.
Yeah, it's not about being submissive or feeling inferior, letting your man be in charge of your household. It's saying, okay, I believe he's in the will of God, and I believe that God will call him to treat this family and treat me as a wife and take the lead in the appropriate manner. And I am happy to submit to that authority because it takes it off my plate. I'm busy 100%. Being pretty and cooking. I'm busy being a trophy wife and nurturing the kids and controversial. I don't also want to have to lead the family. Let you take control of that. I'll be back here. I'll bring the kids with me. We're going to follow you. And when you've got a man that's leading the household with God's authority, it's very easy for a woman to fall into her natural desire to follow her husband wherever he leads the family.
To respect him. You guys I know men, you want respect. You want respect because you receive that as love. You want respect, be the man God's calling you to be by digging in and getting with God, asking him, who is that? How do you follow someone you don't know? Right? Yeah. Like, and then for women, our nature is to respect you when we feel cherished, cared for, and that we can trust you. And when we can trust you most when you're really following God.
Right. And hey, don't you guys out there think that we're kept women, okay? We have definitely got minds and opinions of our own. We are by no means submissive wives. So I hope we did not portray that message. Our husbands would agree that we are fireballs and we're probably pretty hard to get to submit.
Yeah, we are fireballs, but I do respect Matt.
Yes.
I do respect him, and he does cherish me. We have a great I mean, it took a long time. I mean, I've been married 21 years, together 23. This has been a walkout. You guys, this is a process, and we're here to encourage you as well as talk about all the crazy, but we're also here to encourage you.
Amen. Boy,
victory is ours.
Woo! All right, guys, thank you for listening. No, literally, guys, thank you for listening.
There's got to be a few chicks out there.
Yeah.
Share it with your honeys.
Yeah, check us out at she'ssorightshow.com. You can see our bios, what the show stands for, and any way you want to contact us. We'll take questions eventually.
God bless you all.
God bless America.
Take care.
It's Dylan's KC Barbecue at 4 Valley locations. Our sports bar in Arrowhead is packed with TVs for the ultimate sports fan. Our Wildlife World Zoo location will have you on the edge of your seat, dining right next to our 60,000-gallon shark tank. Dylan's Bayou at Pleasant Harbor has never-ending sunsets, beautiful people, and live music every weekend. And our newest location, Western Trails Ranch, is 12 acres of rodeo fun and live outdoor concerts for the entire family. It's Dylan's KC Barbecue, where we're elite, unique, and memorable.